On my birthday, my mom handed me a card and said, "Don't expect much. You still haven't earned it." Inside it read, "Happy birthday to the family, Leach. Maybe this year you'll grow up." My brother laughed. My dad said, "We should have cut you off years ago. I've been paying their bills since I was 22. That night, I froze every account and left one final message in the family group chat they'll never forget. You know how people say birthdays bring people together? Yeah, not in my house. Not with my family. I turned 27 last week, and while I wasn't expecting a parade or anything, I definitely wasn't bracing for emotional warfare at Olive Garden. It started at the table, round and tucked in the back of the restaurant, like they didn't want anyone seeing us. My mom insisted we meet there because it's cheap and has unlimited breadsticks. Don't be picky. As soon as I sat down, my brother Brian tossed a crumpled napkin in my direction. "The birthday prince arrives," he said with a smirk. "Thou before us, mighty moocher." My mom didn't even look up from her salad. "Brian," she warned, but there was no weight to it. She was smiling too. My dad raised his wine glass. "Another year older, huh? Maybe this is the one where you finally stopped draining us." That one hit me sideways. Draining them? I paid their mortgage. I covered their utility bills. I bailed Brian out of credit card debt when he maxed out buying crypto and a drone he crashed 2 days later. I even added my mom to my health insurance when she lost her job last spring. Since I was 22, they'd leaned on me like I was their personal ATM. But somehow they'd rewritten the story in their heads. I wasn't the one keeping the roof over their heads. I was the burden. "I got you a card," my mom said, reaching into her purse with a sigh. "Don't expect much. You still haven't earned it." I stared at her for a second, thinking maybe she was joking. But when I took the envelope, she leaned back, arms folded like she just handed me a verdict. The front was blank. Inside was a cheap printout folded in half. It read, "Happy birthday to the family. Leach. Maybe this year you'll grow up." There was no signature. Just those words in 12-point Times New Roman, like it was some middle school PowerPoint slide. Brian nearly choked on his breadstick, laughing. "Damn, that's brutal. Who came up with that? You or Dad?" My dad chuckled and stabbed his fork into his ravioli. "Should have cut him off years ago. You cuddle him, Deb." Something in me cracked. Not like a sudden explosion, but like a quiet internal snap, like a wire stretched too tight for too long, finally giving out. I didn't say a word. Just quietly placed the card back on the table, folded my napkin, and stood up. "Where are you going?" my mom asked. "Bathroom," I muttered. But I didn't stop at the bathroom. I walked out. No drama, no tantrum. Just out the door into my car and straight home. By the time I reached my apartment, I'd made up my mind. The first thing I did was open my laptop. Their mortgage canceled. Automatic payments to their electricity and gas disabled. My brother's phone line on my plan removed. Then I did one more thing. I opened the family group chat, the one we rarely used, unless it was to guilt trip me into helping out again. I typed slowly, calmly, since I'm apparently a leech. I figured I'd stop leeching. All financial support has officially ended as of tonight. Let's see how much you miss me when the bills are in your own names again. Happy birthday to me. Then I left the group. That was 4 days ago. And now their silence is deafening. But I know that won't last because rent's due in 2 days, and none of them know yet. I froze every account. Even the emergency fund they don't know I can track. They wanted me to grow up. Okay, but they're about to learn that grown-ups can also walk away. I didn't sleep that night. Not from regret, God, no. From clarity. It was the first time in years I didn't feel chained to my family's dysfunction. Somehow, I'd been too numb to see the pattern I'd been stuck in until that birthday dinner shoved it in my face like a joke I wasn't in on. I sat at my desk until 3 a.m., just processing. The silence in my apartment felt almost foreign. No late-night text from Mom asking if I could spot her the $230 for the gas bill. No notification from Brian asking if I could Venmo him money for just until Friday. For the first time in 5 years, my phone was still. I opened my bank app, stared at the breakdown of recurring transfers and auto-pays I'd kept alive like some invisible puppeteer. $1,600, Mom and Dad's mortgage. $450, their power, water, internet. $380, supplemental insurance since Mom lost her job 2 years ago. $280, Brian's phone plus the car insurance I was still paying off from his DUI. I'd been hemorrhaging almost $2,700 a month, over a third of my take-home pay. all while hearing things like, maybe this year you'll grow up. Funny, I did grow up. That's why I made it out. Flashback 2 years ago. I was 25, sitting in a Starbucks on my lunch break when the call came through. Mom crying. Nate, they're going to foreclose if we miss another payment. Your dad didn't tell me we were 2 months behind. I remember the way my chest tightened, the anxiety, the guilt, as if I'd done something wrong. I wired $3,200 that afternoon without blinking. Back then, I was only a DevOps engineer, pulling in maybe $90,000. Still, I made it work. Took on extra contracts on nights and weekends, migrating outdated servers to AWS, tuning databases, setting up back-end monitoring systems. I was tired all the time, exhausted, but I told myself that's what family does. Then I leveled up, got AWS certified, climbed to senior cloud infrastructure engineer, cracked $130,000. You'd think that would ease the pressure. Instead, the requests got bigger. I leaned back in my chair and laughed bitterly to myself. Leech, huh? I built a 6-month emergency fund, invested in dividend stocks, took side clients for an extra $1,500 per month just so I could keep them safe and afloat. I lived below my means, ate frozen meals, still drove my 5-year-old Tesla. Meanwhile, Brian went to Miami last summer and came back with a Rolex client gift. He claimed. My dad just shrugged. He's hustling. No one ever said that about me. No one noticed how many nights I stayed up configuring CI and CD pipelines, troubleshooting outages in some startup's back end at 2 a.m., or juggling 6 Zoom calls in a day while pretending I wasn't sick. No one cared. They just saw the debit alerts, the money, and assumed I owed it to them. But not anymore. At noon the next day, I checked my phone. 22 missed calls and voicemails from Mom, 2 from Dad. Even Brian texted, "WF, dude, did you touch Mom's account?" The mortgage bounced. I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off notifications for all of them. Then I called my HR rep and removed my mom from my insurance. I had a Zoom call with a client in Berlin after that. They wanted a load balancer review for a new cloud app. I smiled through the meeting, gave them my usual precise feedback, sent the invoice, and marked another $450 earned for the day. When I closed my laptop, I checked the group chat again, still silent. So, I posted one more thing. Just a reminder, adults pay their own way. Try it sometime. Also, if you ever send me another birthday card like that, make sure you laminate it so I can use it to scrape the ice off your windshield next winter when you can't afford the garage bill. It took less than 48 hours for silence to turn into panic. At first, they thought I was bluffing, that I'd cool off, that I'd come crawling back like always. Quiet, reliable, disposable. But I didn't. And on Monday morning, when the mortgage company called and the lights flickered at the house, it finally hit. I was gone, and I'd taken the lifeline with me. The voicemails came in waves. "Nathan, I don't know what this is about, but we're your parents. You don't do this to family. Are you seriously that upset over a card? You're being dramatic. Brian's stuck on the side of the road. His insurance isn't going through. What the hell did you do?" I didn't respond because I'd already done enough. I checked the group chat once for morbid curiosity. Dad had typed, "Since you're acting like a stranger, maybe it's time we stop treating you like family. Good luck out there." Out there. I've been out there since I was 22, paying their bills while building my own life from scraps. All they ever saw was the deposit, not the hours, not the burnout, not the years I didn't even buy myself a damn birthday cake because the electric bill back home was due. They liked me better when I was exhausted and quiet. Useful. Now that I chose peace, I was selfish. That Thursday, I got a text from Brian. Just a screenshot. Overdraft minus $12,945. Rejected auto payment. Car insurance. Followed by, "Seriously, bro, thought you had our back." No apology, no accountability, just blame. I turned my phone over and went back to work. Funny thing is, I was doing better than ever. 2 new freelance clients, a tech conference invite for the fall. My health was improving, sleeping again, eating like a person. I wasn't grinding just to hold up people who called me a burden. I was finally living for me, and they hated it. It was Saturday night when they showed up. I was on my balcony, music low, sipping the first real glass of wine I'd allowed myself in months. I just submitted a freelance project that earned me more in 4 days than I used to make in 2 weeks. Peace had a taste, and I wasn't giving it up. Then my phone buzzed. 2 missed calls from Mom, 1 missed call from Dad, Brian calling. I didn't answer. Then a knock at my door. I stayed seated. Another knock, louder this time. Then a voice. Nate, we just want to talk. I didn't move. Just watched them through the peephole. My mom had brought a takeout bag like she could patch years of guilt with sesame chicken. Brian was on his phone pacing. My dad stood back, arms crossed, looking annoyed that the world wasn't bending to his will. 5 minutes passed. They knocked again. I let the silence answer. Eventually, they left. I waited until the elevator dinged and the hallway emptied before I picked up my phone. I opened the family group chat. The same one they'd used for years to organize birthday dinners I was never invited to, vacations I paid for but never attended, holidays where my name was forgotten until it was time to split costs. I hadn't written in it since my birthday. This time I typed slowly. Since I was 22, I paid your bills while you called me lazy, selfish, and immature. I covered your mortgage, your utilities, your car repairs, Brian's phone, Dad's insulin, and groceries that fed people who laughed in my face. I kept giving while you kept taking. And on the one day I quietly hoped you'd just say something kind, you called me a leech. So this is me finally growing up. Growing up means knowing when to stop enabling people who love your money more than they love you. You taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about respect. And since there's no respect left, there's no family left either. Don't call. Don't come by. Don't expect another cent. I'm done. I hit send. Then I muted the thread, set the phone down, and turned the music up. Outside, the city kept breathing like it didn't care. And for the first time in my life, I let myself feel the silence. And it felt nothing like loneliness. It felt like freedom. If you enjoyed the story, make sure to like, drop a comment, and hit the subscribe button. Your support means a lot.